A couple is suspended from the front of a truck. Both were chained to one hand, and the other end of the chain is attached to the drive shaft of the truck. As long as the two of them can hold on for a kilometer without falling, you get a big bag of flour as a reward. Soon, the truck reached a speed of 100 kilometers per hour. The woman screamed in horror on the spot. The boyfriend on the side tried to comfort her. But the truck driver deliberately swayed the car from side to side, and the road started to get bumpy. Fortunately, the woman was pulled up. That's how I got away with it. The driver is still stepping up the accelerator. They're going faster and faster. Fortunately, 1 kilometer is coming soon. I see the driver is already slowing down. The two people in the front of the car breathed a sigh of relief. The hanging heart is finally put down. Then the woman's eyes fell on the bag of flour. He can't wait. Finally, the two were crushed into meat paddles by a truck. Soon police arrived at the scene, looking at the broken limbs all over the ground. They're used to it because the last 2 months, on Highway 17, there have been 3 similar traffic cases. As for who the murderer is, the police have been clueless. So, the locals call Route 17 the Slaughter Man. Everyone must know that they are afraid of jealousy. No one dares to approach. 2 racing girls, getting ready to follow your boyfriend to a car rally. They took a group photo before leaving. Little do you know that a few hours later, this photo will become their reference. They overtook a big truck on the highway. Driver Austin deliberately flirted with the show, let the big truck rush off the road. This move also succeeded in angering the truck driver, and he is the change on this road. State serial killer Show Teeden. Jack thinks it's too dangerous for Austin to drive like this. Tell him to pull over. Drive it yourself. Not long after catching up with the companion in front, the big truck caught up and kept honking in the back because of what happened before. Jack, who knew he was wrong, quickly stepped aside. Let the big truck pass. Who knew that after the big truck passed by, suddenly he slammed on the brakes. Jack, who was caught off guard, almost rear-ended. Then the big truck slowed down and tied it in front. Jack wanted to overtake, but he wasn't even given a chance. Finally, with the excellent performance of the racing car, 1 foot on the accelerator goes over the pass. But the companion's pickup was not so lucky, almost knocked over by a truck. During the standoff between the 2 sides, a car suddenly appeared opposite. Although avoiding the oncoming car, but the overly long body loses its center of gravity. After a few limit drifts, the truck spanned the middle of the road. Engine bursts. Embroidered iron nails in the smoke get off the truck. Watching Jack and the others walk away from a distance, his eyes glow fiercely. A bloody killing feast also kicked off. He gets back in the car, call up the other party's license plate number through the driving recorder, and find their fleet information online. Then radio Jack, threatening them if they don't come back now, will definitely pay for it. I'm a little flustered to hear that the relief staff here, Gold, Sister Fa asked Jack to turn off the radio and call the police quickly. But for fear of delaying the game, Jack did not follow the advice. When you stop to refuel, the blonde sister finally couldn't take it anymore. He yelled at Jack for making a mistake and tried to run away, since racing is so important. Then let him go. Saying that, he pulled up Austin and rushed to the nearest town. Called the police, but they just hit the road not long ago. The big truck caught up. They tried to pick up customers by radio, but because the distance is too far, it cannot be accepted at all. As the big truck keeps ramming in the back, blonde sister completely panicked. Gradually by big truck, forced on the auxiliary road under maintenance. I forgot to brake in a panic. The car slammed into the isolation belt. Slowly reversed the truck back, put the unconscious 2 into a container. Driving to a remote place, opened the container. Austin, who woke up first, kept reversing money. I begged Shoe Teeden to let them go, but I knew it. Why bother with this murderer in the first place? He dragged Austin to the car fan. Tell him that it's unnecessary to keep the hand you owe so much. Saying that, he stuffed his left hand into the fan. With the rapid rotation of the fan blades, Austin's hand was cut into the corner on the spot, accompanied by his heartbreaking screams. Shoe Teeden took his other hand again, also reached in. And finally, the troublemaker. Blonde sister is perverted. Killer with his hands tied, and his boyfriend Jack doesn't know anything about it. Until I heard the sound of a murderer on the radio. That's boring. Definitely ignore me. Jack panicked when he heard his girlfriend's voice. Begged the rusty nails not to hurt him, no matter how much it costs. But then the killer Russ. iron nails indicate that it can no longer be solved with money. All he wants now is the car that pissed him off, and asked him to rush within an hour to an abandoned warehouse. Jack agreed without hesitation. He turned the car around. As agreed, we hurried all the way to the destination. For safety's sake, he asked Zhao Mei to stay in the car. The remaining two hid in the dark and waited for an opportunity, then walk into the warehouse alone. But after looking for a long time, I can't see the shadow of embroidered iron nails. What he doesn't know is, hiding in the dark and waiting for an opportunity, moving Bobby has been brought down. And then a headlight went on, rushing towards Jack. Fortunately, Jack responded quickly, jumped aside in time. The big truck drove all the way out of the warehouse. Several people quickly chased after him. Only then did he realize that Bobby had long since disappeared. Too late to think, the three immediately got into the car and chased after the big truck. I didn't expect to meet a patrolman halfway through. Several people are like treasures. Step forward immediately to identify yourself. And say it again. After the police listen, tell them to get in the car and chase after them. I didn't expect to wait for the police car to turn around. A truck came to a sudden stop. But then I got a call from the killer, because Jack chose to call the police. This definitely broke the rules of the game, so this time he has to let his companions pay for them. Bobby was strangled alive by the chain. Finally tell Jack, trying to save his girlfriend. Just come to the garbage dump 100 kilometers away. Look at your companion. One by one died tragically at the hands of the other. John can't take it anymore. He thought he would follow Jack. It's a dead end. So he decided to go back to the gas station and call the police. Jack saw that he had deliberately decided. I had to let him go. However, all this, it's all in the grasp of killer embroidery nails. Shortly after John left, it was carried away by the elusive embroidery nails. Wait until he wakes up again. Find your own head. It was pressed under the big truck. He cried out for help. Instead, it attracted murderers to save iron nails. Step on the Jack with one foot on the embroidered iron nail, and John's head turned into a rotten eggplant. After that, Shu Tiden poured a bucket of gasoline. A fire. After the body was destroyed, he drove away with the head of the truck. The other side. Jack and Zhao Mei finally arrived at the abandoned trash. He told Mai to drive to find John. Go outside with him and call the police. I walked into the junkyard alone looking for my girlfriend, while murderous Shu Tiden has been waiting for a long time with an axe. And he pointed at it, car hanging above. The blonde sister's cry for help came. I watched the embroidery nail turn on the switch of the compressor. Jack couldn't take it anymore. Rush up to fight him, but he's not tall at all. Embroidered nail opponent. I was beaten all over the place in a few beats. Just pick up the axe at the embroidery nail. When preparing to give Jack a fatal blow, Zhao Mei suddenly drove in, knocked the embroidered iron nails out, facing the unconscious murderer. The two of them didn't care about replenishing the knife and quickly went to save Sister Jinfa. But when they shut down the compressor, opened the trunk of the car, and there was only one camera inside. Blonde's voice is coming from this thing. In the video, Blonde's sister tied to the top of the big truck, let the murderer shoot the car, head straight for the bridge line viaduct. Watching my girlfriend die so miserably, Jack was completely furious. He's going to make this perverted murderer pay with blood. But only then did he realize the rusted iron soldier who fell to the ground has long since disappeared, and his truck is gone. Jack hurriedly called Zhao Mei and prepared to chase after her. But I didn't wait for him to start the car. The murderer actually drove the truck straight into him. Jack wants to pull out Zhao Mei's leg, but the murderer is closing in behind. Don't give the soul at all. Critical moment. Jack flashed to the other side of the car, then climb up the crane on the side. With a little bit of craftsmanship learned in technical school, successfully captured the murderer's truck, then thrown into the compressor, watching the truck crushed into a pie. The two of them left this hellish place. The police arrived at the scene the next day, but when they looked in the compressor, when the body of a murderer found the truck empty, not even a single hair. And on the side of Highway 17, a man stopped a large truck,